I call up Paul Amendment number 5 and ask unanimous consent to be able to speak up to 5 minutes.
Without objection.
Some employees of the federal government, particularly employees of the NIH,
Excuse me, Senator Paul. What's the problem?
5.
Is this number? Is this 4 or 5?
5. Some employees of the federal government, particularly employees of the NIH, are receiving royalties, which may be paid by companies that have business before the agencies that oversee them. Without this amendment, taxpayers and Congress itself are left in the dark when trying to assess conflicts of interest. According to OpenTheBooks, who sued for the information and received redacted documents, about 2,400 NIH scientists received more than $300 million in royalty payments during the last decade. That's an average royalty payment of $135,000 per scientist. But NIH redacted key details, and we don't know who is making the payments, how much each payment amounted to, or why the payment was made. Even Dr. Fauci, who received at least 24 royalty payments through 2021, refused to tell Congress what he received in payments or whether anybody on the vaccine committees were receiving royalties from the vaccine manufacturers. We know how much his salary was, over $400,000 a year, but to this day we don't know who paid Dr. Fauci in royalties or how much they paid him or even what they paid him. We do know that he received over $1 million from a nonprofit. It's kind of extraordinary that members of government, members of Congress, I think, are forbidden from taking more than $25, and yet a lead bureaucrat that controls so many billions of dollars was allowed to be given $1 million while still working for the government. Shouldn't we care about conflicts of interest? Shouldn't we stop and think that perhaps the people that dole out government grants will be tempted to reward these companies that pay them royalties? The time for royalty transparency is long overdue, and I ask for a yes vote on my amendment.
I personally am not unsympathetic to the goal of Senator Paul and look forward to working with him. Big money exerts a huge influence on everything that we do here, and I think we should look at it. Unfortunately, we have consulted the parliamentarian, and it is my determination based on that recommendation that Paul Amendment number 5 related to financial disclosures of executive branch employees is outside the Help Committee's jurisdiction and violates Rule 15 of the standing rules of the Senate. Accordingly, I rule it out of order.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion similar to the motion that you will make later on in this hearing to modify amendment to make it under the jurisdiction of this committee.
Say that again.
Senator Paul, repeat your request.
I would like to make a motion that is essentially identical to the motion you will make in a few minutes to modify one of your amendments, and that motion is to modify my amendment, and I have it here at the desk and we can distribute it, to modify amendment to make it germane to the committee, and therefore it would then be eligible for a vote.